Okay, we are on page 321. The your turn at the top of the page. Number 3, graph the solution of the inequality t is less than -4. If we're going to graph this, we know t cannot be -4. So we're going to go to -4 and we're going to put an open circle that shows it doesn't include -4, but we know t can be anything on this side of the graph, and that our equation would be true. And to prove that, we pick a number that's highlighted over here in this highlighted section and see if it would work. For instance, if I picked -9, if I said -9 was t, is that less than -4? Well, it is, so we know that our solution's correct. All right, writing inequalities. You can write an inequality to model the relationship between an algebraic expression and a number. You can also write inequalities to represent certain real-world situations. So let's go down so we can try our hand at both of those things. Part A, write an inequality that represents the phrase, the sum of y and 2 is greater than 5. Draw a graph to represent the inequality. Well, the first thing we have to do is write the inequality. And we know when we're dealing with an inequality, we're going to have a variable, some letter. In this case, we have a y. We're going to have a number that goes with it. And then we're going to have an operation. Well, when we see this word, the sum, we know we're adding. And then we have our inequality symbol, greater than, and 5. So if we look at this, the sum of y and 2, we could write that as y plus 2. And then we have the greater than symbol and 5 over here. So if we look at our equation, the sum of y plus 2 is greater than 5. Now to do this solution, a lot of kids might be tempted to say, oh, we have to go to the 2, but we have to add 2 to y to get 5. So if we just think, when we know in our head 3 plus 2 is 5, we could say, ooh, that could kind of work, but that would be equal to 5, and we want it to be greater than 5. So that's why when we graph this, they came down here and they put an open circle at the 3. It's kind of hard to see, but that's an open circle because it's not equal to 3, but it's anything bigger. So they highlighted it in this direction. Now the reason they did it this way is because it includes any number between 3 and 4. For example, if I use 3.1, if I said y was 3.1, that means 3.1 plus this 2 has to be bigger than 5. Well, if I add that together, I'm going to get 5.1, and that's true. 5.1 is bigger than 5. So it can't include 3, but it can be any number bigger than it. All right, and we check our solution by picking a number that's highlighted like we did. 3.1 is highlighted, but they chose 4, and they said 4 plus 2 is greater than 5 because 6 is greater than 5. So we know that that's a solution. All right, let's go to part B. Part B says to test the temperature rating of a coat, a scientist keeps the temperature below 5 degrees Celsius. Write and graph an equation to represent the situation. Well, for the variable, they said, let's let it be T, because T is for temperature. And the temperature has to be less than 5, so our equation has to be temperature is less than 5. When we graph that, again, there's an open circle. The temperature cannot be 5, but it can be any number less than 5. Once we graph it, we pick a number that's in the highlighted area and put it in to see if it works. So let's pick 1. If we substitute 1 for t, we have 1 is less than 5. Does that make sense? Yes, it does. So we know our answers are correct. All right, you're done with page 321.